YouTube, what is up and welcome back to another video. I feel like Pokemon investing in general is a very hot topic right now. I just watched this podcast from this YouTuber. I don't know all of these YouTubers who are in the podcast, but it was very interesting to hear, and I just want to kind of share my perspective on this because with the word Pokemon investing, some people find it cringe and some people love it. I love it because I think it's a great opportunity to put money in. I'm not saying if you have $100,000, you put $99,000 into Pokemon. I'm not saying that. But I do think there is a good opportunity in the Pokemon market to make money. That's why I make content. That's why my channel is here. So in today's video, we're going to talk about, is Pokemon a good investment? Okay, so firstly, I just want to have some type of transparency. And yes, I do invest in Pokemon a lot. I only invest a little portion of my net worth into Pokemon. I have a lot of investments. I'm about to buy a house actually.
We've got a badass over here.
I'm a big believer in the stock market. I love to invest my money and I love to put money to work for me. So all that being said, what makes a good investment? To me, in my own opinion, and this is going to vary between person to other people, but in my opinion, what makes a good investment is safety, income, and capital growth. If you have an investment and it's pure risk and there's no income and it doesn't appreciate over time, that's a bad investment to me. Other than a house, for example, it's always going to be there unless it burns down. That's why you have insurance. A house could be income. When you rent it out, you get money from that every single month. And capital appreciation. Over time, houses tend to go up with inflation. That's a good investment. I don't want to bore you with my investment thesis, and I don't want to bore you with all this investment talk. We're going to talk about Pokemon in today's video. That's what makes a good investment in my opinion. Those three things are very, very important. Now in this video, we're going to talk about, is that in Pokemon cards? For safety, for example, is Pokemon safe to invest in? In my opinion, it is. Of course there are risks, but in my opinion, I think it's a good place to store some portion of allocation of your money. Here's why. Is Pokemon going to be here in the next 10 years? I think if I was to tell you that Pokemon is not going to be here in the next 10 years, a lot of people would disagree with me. And I think if it wasn't here in 10 years and we look out in the future, I would be shocked if it wasn't, to be honest. Because think about how much of a fan base Pokemon has. It's just not Pokemon cards that people collect. It's the game. It's the plushes. It's the whole thing. It's like Star Wars. Is Star Wars going to be here in the next 10 years? I think so. Okay. It's the same thing with Disney. It's the same thing with Star Wars. It's the same thing with Marvel. It's the same thing with Batman. All these things, they have a huge fan base that I think are going to be here for a very, very long time. And I think Pokemon is a leader in this space. Any cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon is the top mode. Pokemon is the top leader. It has a huge competitive advantage because how large it is and the fan base is so large. So if someone told me that Pokemon is not going to be here in the next 10 years, I would be mind blown. I would be shocked. I would bet my life on Pokemon is going to be here in the next 10 years. So I think Pokemon itself, not the investment kind of era of Pokemon, I think Pokemon Company, I think it's here to stay for the long run. And I think if you invest in Pokemon, if you do it smartly and wisely, and a small portion of your net worth, I think it's a very, very safe place to put your Pokemon cards.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Are there risks? 110%. If someone robs your house and steals your whole collection, if you have a storage unit and that blows up or that sets on fire, or if your house floods and it's in the basement, so much risk, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a product that you can hold. Someone can steal it, anything like that, right? And I don't want to keep going on, but is Pokemon a safe thing to invest in? I think the pros outweigh the cons. I think if you store smartly, if you're smart with your investment, because keep in mind this is an investment, so you do want to store it in a safe place and things like that, because if you put a lot of money into it, you want to be smart with it, right? So I think if you're smart with it, Pokemon is a very, very safe place to put your money into. Another reason why I think it's safe is because when have you seen a Pokemon set that has come out for MSRP and 3, 5, 10 years down the line, it's gone to zero? When has that ever happened? Steam Siege. Everyone hates Steam Siege. But yet it's still over MSRP. It's not crazy expensive, yes, because the set is not the greatest. But that's just my point. The worst thing that we've seen in Pokemon, in my opinion, I hate Steam Siege, and it has gone up in value. Yes, you can argue, you can place money in other places that will make you more money. That's obvious. But my point here is that Pokemon is safe if one, you're smart storing it, if you're wise what you invest in. And obviously I don't think Pokemon is going to go bankrupt, or they're not going to go away in the next 10 years. It's a very, very large company that's a huge fan base behind it. And I'm not just trying to pump Pokemon saying it's going to the moon. I'm not saying that. It's just a reality. Star Wars and Disney, that's not going anywhere in the next 10 years. Neither is Pokemon. It's a huge brand, and people love Pokemon, yes, because of the cards, but there's a show. There's plushes, there's games, there's Monopoly, there's so much things that Pokemon has other than Pokemon cards that people love. And that's why I think it's a very safe thing to invest in. Now this is a tricky one, income. Does Pokemon cards do anything when you hold them? What I'm talking about is income. Does it produce some type of income? Does it have some type of cash flow? Stocks, they have cash flow. Real estate, they have cash flow. These are the things that you have to look at when you want to make a good investment. Do Pokemon cards have some type of cash flow? Most people are going to say no. I say yes.
I'm an idiot!
If you buy a sealed Pokemon box, does it have cash flow? No, it does nothing, and it waits for the next buyer to buy it. If it's higher or lower on what you pay for it, that's up to the next buyer. But if you buy cards and flip them at a PSA 10 or a PSA 9 and you're making money off that, that's cash flow. If you have $1,000 every single month, you put in single cards and you submit them to PSA, and you profit from that, that's monthly cash flow. You don't even have to submit cards like that. You can have single cards. You can go on Facebook, buy a bunch of single cards, and split them for 5-10% more on what you bought them for. That's monthly income that you're making from Pokemon.
That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ of 160.
So that is just something else to add with income that it makes a good investment. I don't want people to think that it's a very risky thing to invest in Pokemon cards. If you have $100,000 and you put all of your money into this, yes, it is risky. But I think with income so far and safety, I think these are safe options, and it's a good opportunity, and it's realistic to make money from Pokemon cards, because there's always going to be some type of demand. Pokemon is huge, like I've said so many times in this video. It's huge. There's a demand. Someone is going to go on Facebook, on eBay, go anywhere else in the world and look for deals. There's always going to be a buyer for Pokemon cards. Next thing in today's video is capital growth. I think this is the easiest thing in today's video, and I think we all know this, and I've mentioned it about Steam Siege. Horrible sets, they do go up in value. If you buy any set from MSRP, please someone mention me in the comments if you can find one booster box that's more than 3 years old and is still selling for MSRP. I would be amazed. I'd be shocked, honestly, if you can send me that deal. And I'm not saying buy everything because it goes up. I'm not saying that. But there's a reason why these things go up. It's the same thing with Lego. Lego is the same thing like Pokemon. Lego and Pokemon, they're not going anywhere. Okay. But because they only make a certain amount of one product, and then after 2-3 years, they're done making it, the demand goes up. Because people love Pokemon and Lego, and you can no longer buy it in stores. So it's simply supply and demand.
Wow.
Yes, there's so much supply now. Think about what we've just gone through with Sword and Shield, with the pandemic. Everyone was shut down, Pokemon just went crazy. But yet, Pokemon is still big, and there's still a large demand for Pokemon. Even though the supply is just crazy amounts, and yet the Umbreon VMAX is $2,000 in a PSA 10. It's over $1,000 in a raw copy. Yes, that's the top chase card in Sword and Shield, I understand that. But I'm just putting context out there that there is demand for Pokemon cards. I think we all can agree the demand for Pokemon cards will never go away. And all that being said, this is where capital growth comes into play. If you buy sealed product, odds are when these sets are no longer in print run, when they're no longer at local card stores, when they're no longer in Walmart, Target, whatever it is, they are going to go up. The higher the demand for a set like Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars, Chilling Reign, whatever set that you like, odds are that's probably going to go up because others like it too. The demand is there and the supply is cut off. So whatever is out there, that's it. I don't have to explain this because I'm sure all of you already know this. But capital appreciation is a very easy thing if you just buy sealed product and you just hold it for the long term. And I'm not just saying this to get views on YouTube. I'm saying this because I actually do this. I buy a lot of sealed product. I can make a video of my sealed collection because I'm a big believer in sealed products, and I think the easiest way to make money is to buy and hold, really. If you really be smart and wise with your decisions, like Evolving Skies, that was the easiest thing to buy, and Sword and Shield, Brilliant Stars too, is just the easiest things to buy, and they will go up over time because the demand is always going to be there and the supply one day will cut off and then that's when the price goes up and up and up and up. And people are going to be mad about me saying that, but it's just a reality in my opinion. Everything I'm saying is a reality. Is Pokemon risky? Of course. Every investment has some type of risk, but I think the risks in Pokemon cards is very slim. Yes, the risks could come true, of course, because it's a risk. But I think if you weigh the pros and cons with the risk rewards in Pokemon investing, I think the rewards and the pros are so much larger than the cons and the risks. And I want to know all of your opinions in today's video. So let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, because honestly, I think it's just easy money investing in Pokemon cards just because I'm a big believer in it. Obviously, I have a massive collection and I love Pokemon. And if I didn't love Pokemon, I wouldn't be as passionate as I am. I wouldn't have this channel and I wouldn't invest in Pokemon cards. That's not the reason why I invest in it. I just think it makes sense. I understand how to make money in Pokemon cards and I understand this investment. So that's why I'm obviously investing in Pokemon cards, because I'm a big believer and I do see the fundamentals behind this investment, if that makes sense. And I hope I'm not confusing any of you guys, because I'm not very good at explaining things. But let me know your opinion in today's video. Let me know if you guys are investing in Pokemon cards. Let me know how you guys feel about Pokemon investors in today's era of Pokemon cards. And I would love to hear your feedback. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Deuces.